Let's see how we can debug the board and find objects with unusual sizes and positions. For example, right now in this setup we have two boards, and we have this rather larger skeleton guy over here. And let's say I want to move it, or I want to at least find where he is actually. So if I click here, for example, I see that I'm not using the skeleton guy. I'm not selecting the skeleton guy, but it's just grass. So first I need to see if I'm on the right board. To see if you're on the right board, you can click on this button over here, and you can basically toggle rendering helpers and gizmos. This toggle button over here draws squares around your cells that belong to the current board. So if you have cells that have content in the current board, you're gonna see squares around them, and the color is the color of the board over here. So we can see that on board 2 we have the grass tiles and we don't have the skeleton tiles. So let's go to board 1. Now you can see that these tiles belong to board 1. So I wanted to find where the skeleton is, so I just click here and it's empty. I click here, it's empty, and so on. So none of these cells actually logically contain the skeleton. But where is it? If I want to see where the skeleton is exactly, I can turn off rendering offsets and sizes by toggling this button over here. And now basically everything is rendered in its own cell. So this one ignores all the offsets, all the custom sizes, and so on. No anchors are applied. And now we can see where the skeleton really was. So if I click over here, we can see that yes, so this tile was where the skeleton actually was. And we can see over here that skeleton had an X offset of 180 units. If I open the tile diff, it has a width and height of 42 pixels. So overwrite size is enabled, which means instead of setting adjusting the size by row and column spans, now we can adjust them by absolute units, which is 42 units here. And let's set the offset to 0. Let's go back to the editor, and if I turn on rendering offsets again, we can see that now it's back to its original position. So if I click here, I can select the skeleton and I can move him around.